Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and informations on Path of Exile. And this week we only got one piece of news, however it's quite important. So first up, as we already know, the Legacy of Phrecia event has been extended by 1 month. So it's running up to 2 months now, and it runs up until the 23rd of April. And this has been due to the popularity of the league as soon as it launched, and so that's a good thing. I mean, there's a lot of new ascendancies to try out, so there's a lot of things to do, and it's nice that we get 1 extra month so that even people who do not have all the time in the world to play can get their level 80 for the achievements, or not for the achievement, but for the armor that actually looks pretty good and looks even better in PoE2, by the way. There's that. However, there's also another part to this. So as soon as this event ends, GGG is going to add private leagues, or rather private league templates as they're calling it, with no cost. So normally private leagues do cost something. Right now these don't cost anything. They're going to be available to everyone in the quantity that you prefer, and they're going to be limited to 20,000 player slots. So, I mean, unless you're a streamer, this is not a problem for you. And people will be able to play these new ascendancies again in these new leagues or private events, however you want to call them. I do suspect they're going to be built on settlers again, so you will have to do the usual things like building King's March and everything. However, I suspect that GGG will also add some modifiers to these leagues, maybe opt-in modifiers, and that would make those leagues quite interesting actually. And the other big part of this news is that the tentative timeline for the 3.26 expansion is around June. Now this is tentative again, so this might change. However, this is pretty much when GGG wants to launch this 3.26, and you have to also consider that probably around the end of April, when the Phrecia event ends, GGG probably wants to push out the PoE2 update, the 0.2 update for PoE2, which could change things there and could also maybe add something new, like a new class or something like that. So yeah, it's very likely that GGG is going to shift the focus from PoE1 to PoE2 to fill the gap until June, where 3.26 is going to launch, and from there they are going to alternate the two. I do feel like what they could do is basically 2 leagues per game per year. So like in June they launch PoE1 league, and then it's going to run for 6 months. However, at the 3rd month a PoE2 league will launch, and then they will alternate each other, and yeah, that's probably a good balance, like giving the still giving the 3 months as usual to players who are playing PoE1 and PoE2, jumping from one to the other, but giving more respite to players who just play one of the 2 games, so that they can achieve everything in the league with a little bit more time than usual. I do feel like a schedule that's tighter than 3 months for leagues will burn out like 80% of the player base, although I do realize that the biggest part of the player base is the one that plays at the launch and then maybe gets into maps like white maps or even less and then drops out. So yeah, GGG has to be really careful balancing between the masses, because big numbers for the game are quite good, at least on paper, and balance for the 1%, which probably contains the big whales that are spending the most cash on the game. It's a tight space to fit in, but I'm sure GGG is going to eventually get it and assess themselves again as the top tier ARPG maker. It will be interesting if they are actually competing between themselves. The studio could actually split in 2 in the future. But I mean, I'm drifting way too far with this news, so yeah, I guess that was all for this week, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. That was all. I've been your host Giorgio, and I'll see you guys the next time.